Guys, it was one of those shows. The stuff that was good was really good, and even big, bad, powerful, positive Spaz will say the stuff that was shit was really, really shit. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and I know, I haven't done a proper Raw review with you guys in like 2 weeks. If you saw my Q&A, I kind of explained myself there. Did a Raw review on OKFabe's channel a couple weeks ago. I really do encourage you to check out OKFabe's channel with the live Raw reviews that he's been doing, you know, the live Google. By the time this goes up, it will already be done and over with. But in general, because I don't go live, I can encourage other people to check out other live shows. I was on one. I know Matt from In the Ropes show, NJ from the British Fist. I know the Angry Mark is on there this week. When I was on there, Nutty Rock Chick was also on there. Nice to see her out and about in the YWC. Again, it's all good. It's very good. It's very not nearly as structured as what I do here, which is what I like. It's kind of got the same feel as when me and all my buddies get together and do the tackles for the pay-per-views. Be that as it may, a couple other things to note. Last week I just, like I said, really shitty day, didn't have it in me to do a Raw review. That's totally on me. The Q&A came out, it was a week late, but it's there. Go back to the Q&A, add your questions if you want them included in the October Q&A, because there's only like 13 days left. Also, the TakeOver show, the NXT TakeOver Respect show, I do not review pay-per-views on this channel, as you guys know, but if you go to soundcloud.com/WrestleRecap, myself and Kristen. Why are we doing that? Stop that. There we go. Myself and Kristen, aka Black Cat Feline, did an extensive review on NXT TakeOver Respect, where I got ripped mercilessly for watching the Bound for Glory show. So if you want to have a good laugh at my expense, as I say, go to soundcloud.com/WrestleRecap. And just in general, go check out her channel, youtube.com/c/theblackcatfeline. Anyways, good stuff going on all around. We're in Chicago tonight, so we could expect a bit of fun, could we not? We knew going in, if you watched the pre-show, that we were going to get Roman versus Strowman, which was just a funny thing to say all night, and we were going to get a Cena Open Challenge, which basically, you know, you say, duh. But Chicago's always an interesting crowd, and, sorry guys, I'm not on drugs, I promise. My sinuses just really suck. We open up the show, and I don't like these. I mean, it set up the theme for the night. I don't like starting Raw with a backstage segment because it seems weird. But you have Kane, and he's on the speakerphone with Triple H and Steph, and they say they're running late, so Kane's going to have to run Raw tonight, so, you know, Rollins is fucked. Kane grabs an attendant and says, why don't you go inform everybody that tonight the main event is going to be a lumberjack match between myself and Seth Rollins. It's all good, it's all wonderful. Throughout the night, you see, it's comedy, but it's not. Triple H and Stephanie keep trying to call Kane. They've got bad reception. They try to call. He keeps trying to tell them what the main event is. They can't hear him. You know, hilarity ensures. Dean Ambrose goes out to the ring. Finally, we're in the arena. Finally, we're in the ring. Mocks the Authority for running late. Welcomes the fans to Monday Night Raw and just says, you know, I'm not exactly in a tie, but I've always wanted to do the welcome to Monday Night Raw. He says, I feel like fighting tonight, which is, you know, it's an Ambrose thing. Orton comes out, and as he's coming out, the camera pans to a just married sign in the crowd, which is kind of cool. I mean, if your honeymoon is going to Raw, it's one of those, it's a bit of a head scratcher, but, you know, it is what it is. Orton says, even though I'm from wherever the hell he's from, I love Chicago. Last week on SmackDown, I fought the Wyatts, and just so you know, Ambrose, I'm going to tell you right now, you and me were just booked in a match to face Strowman and Harper at the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view, which is kind of random and whatever. When I was a champion, but you know, then they start gesturing back and forth as to who should be the leader of the team, you know, follow my lead, kid, and all that sort of thing. I can see eye to eye with you. You're my kind of crazy. But I was a WWE champion when WWE was just your dream. They posture for a while. They're interrupted by the New Day, though, which is great. Oh, you two! Don't you dare be sour! Clap for the greatest thing in the WWE! And you know the rest of the deal. I can't do a Big E impression to save my life. For let's just say numerous politically correct or incorrect reasons. Last week we slayed the Dudleys, we slayed Cena, we slayed Dolph Ziggler. You guys need to stop talking about the Wyatts and stop talking about whatever other mess you guys are talking about. You should be talking about us. Thanks to us, Dudleyville is a retirement home. The show is off, and we can see John Cena, which is... And then pointing at them, we did more last week than The Shield, The Authority, Evolution, and Legacy did combined. And then they make a joke about Randy Orton being the new definition of a groupie because he's been in so many groups. Out with the old and in with the New Day. Kane comes out and sets up the obvious match, which is New Day versus Ambrose and Orton. And the idea being, we have one great team, one charismatic team that the crowd love, and one team that might have dissension, and it's all good. Ambrose and Kofi start. Kofi works over the arm for a long ass time. Hard elbow by Ambrose as we go to commercial break. Vertical slingshot suplex by Orton on Kofi as we come back. It's good, lift him up, bounce him off the ring, or bounce him off the ring ropes back into the ring. Chops, punches, snapmares, clotheslines, all by Dean, all on Big E. Standing dropkick by Orton on Big E. Big E beats down Orton in the corner. Clothesline by Orton, mounted 10 punch by Ambrose, and a top rope dropkick. Orton stomps on Big E, but here's where we get into the competition. He does the Orton stomp, stomp on the hands, stomp on the feet, stomp on the... Ambrose slaps Orton on the back, tags himself in, and he does, I guess you could call it, the Ambrose stomp, where Orton tags himself back in and does the Orton stomp again, whatever. Double elbow by Ambrose and Orton to Kofi, and they toss him out of the ring as we go to the second commercial break. Yes, this was a very long match. Kofi rides a headlock on Orton, and then a dropkick, rotating fast tag mudhole thing that the New Day always do on Orton by the New Day. Abdominal stretch by Big E. Abdominal stretch by Big E is an impressive thing because he's a big guy despite the fact that he's not a big guy. That's the only other way I can say it. It's like Ryback isn't particularly tall, but if he put you in the abdominal stretch, he'd probably break you in half. Both men trade blows, and Orton ends that exchange with a headbutt. Woods boots Orton on the outside because he can, which is great. Big E misses the apron spear and takes a really awkward fall out of the ring. And if it was, I hope it wasn't a botch, because if it was a botch, that's horrible. If it was a planned spot, he sold it awkwardly and very well like it wasn't planned. Hot tag to Ambrose, and Ambrose hits a crossbody and a suicide dive. This is what happens when I can't read my own writing. Second suicide dive lands on all of the New Day. Top rope elbow by Ambrose. Belly to belly by Big E. Rolling clotheslines and a snap. The Orton 5 moves we do. You get the rolling clotheslines. You get the snap slam. You set him up for the suspension DDT. Woods on the outside tries to stop the suspension DDT, but Dean cuts him off with, oh yes, another suicide dive. Suspension DDT, and it plants him. It plants him nice and dirty. I said in big capital letters. You guys know what I mean. When a DDT or anything to the head is dirty. It looks like he got fucking tent spiked. It was good. Kofi, yeah, I just called Kofi Kingston Coffee. That happens. He tosses Orton into Ambrose, causes the immediate dissension, quick roll-up, New Day get the win. You think there's going to be a blow-up? There isn't. You think the New Day are going to celebrate? They don't. We go to the back. We see Kane waiting by the speakerphone for the Authority to call back. Yay! We have... I swear to God, I've always been an advocate of the WWE and how good they are at video packages and whatnot. They do a very, very long, or at least it seems very long, promo package on Taker versus Lesnar. And I said this on Twitter, and I'll say it again here. Taker is one of the biggest legends in the business. Brock Lesnar is a wrecking machine. The one thing that strings all of this video together is that it's all little bits of Paul Heyman's commentary. It's all little bits of Paul Heyman's promos and speeches and whatnot. So the biggest thing in this entire rivalry is Paul Heyman. Now that's either really good for Heyman or really, really bad for Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. Next up, to cheer me up, we have Nikki Bella with Team Bella until I find out that her opponent is Naomi. So Naomi equals... But I gotta be nice. I gotta be fair, I gotta be impartial, unbiased, or else I'm gonna get called racist just for telling the truth. Naomi doesn't get an entrance, which is great. Even though her music isn't playing anymore, when we come back from commercial break, she's still dancing in the ring. Badly. And I mean, I know WWE people dancing badly is a thing, but she takes dancing badly to a new art form, does she not? Collar and elbow tie-up and shoulders by Nikki in the corner. Naomi... because she's a great technical wrestler. She's the future of the women's division. What does she do? She rubs her ass in Nikki's face. Oh yes, and fans cheer for Sasha Banks. And I just kicked the desk, and that kind of hurt. Sloppy tackle by Naomi. Nice crisp spinebuster by Nikki, as we want Sasha. Chants are aimed at Naomi. Snap vertical suplex by Nikki. Snapmare by Nikki, and starts working the midsection, which is great. A headlock with a knee post by Nikki Bella. Naomi punches, because punches are hard, and then misses a leg drop. Oh yes. Another snap vertical suplex by Nikki. Nikki goes from working the midsection to working the arm. Great transition. Naomi kicks, because kicks are hard. Brie is fucking my hero. Gets up on the commentator's desk and leads the crowd in a "We Want Sasha" chant. Sasha Banks gets a nice single leg trip off of the commentator's table onto Brie. Running elbow and a rack attack gets the win for Nikki, and all is well with the world. Naomi was the one in the match, and her partner on the outside getting one trip on somebody else that wasn't even in the match was more than she did in this match. Punches are hard, kicks are hard. Apparently a leg drop is hard because she managed to botch that, and she botched a crossbody, ugly looking thing. Please, I beg you, all of you that thought they could use race as a hot button and make me stop telling the truth about Naomi, please, I beg you. I plead with you, and I hope you all listen. Please put it down in the box below. Please, I beg you with all of my beating heart, please defend Naomi in this match, because you can't. Oh yes. WWE Universe calls... Byron Saxton is sent out into the crowd earlier in the day to say, who is the most unconventional diva? Who's the most unconventional diva or superstar in the WWE? And apparently the fans vote for Paige. We see a backstage interview with Byron Saxton and Paige where she basically makes fun of the whole deal and steals Byron Saxton's chocolate bar because this whole segment was sponsored by Payday candy bars. It's shitty, and it's product placement, and it has no place on the show, but Paige being crazy and stealing something from Byron Saxton and making him look like a bigger wiener than he already is does put a little bit of a smile on my face. The John Cena Open Challenge. Doesn't John Cena get huge Chicago boos as he comes out to the ring? Talks about his history in the Allstate Arena, kisses Chicago's ass, something fierce, does his typical place to be, man to beat bullshit. At this point, I think Cena loves the fact that nobody likes him. That has to be it. Because the more he gets booed, the more of a big fucking cocky-ass smirk on his face he gets. Now, take nothing away from the guy. As I've said, what he's done with the mid-card, what he's done with the US title, what he's done, especially with the NXT talent that are new to the roster, is fantastic. And I'm not taking anything... And of course, he does the charities and all that shit and all the typical Cena defense stuff. I'm not taking any of that away. All the matches he's had recently have been good to great. You know, what he did with Kevin Owens, what he did with Rusev, what he did with, Zayn and Adrian Neville, and the guy we're about to talk about in a second. All great. What he did for the New Day. Great matches, the whole deal. But I really do genuinely think that John Cena, the man, gets a kick out of how much he's hated these days. Which is fine. Ziggler answers the call, and as he's coming to the ring, I half expect that, New Day are going to jump him again. We're going to see some New Day story going into Hell in a Cell. There's only one member of the New Day, and I think it's Kofi Kingston, that hasn't actually had a shot at the US title invitational. So maybe we'll get that next week, or maybe that'll be the thing for the pay-per-view. But we have this, and I will say quite honestly, other than one or two things that I don't like, and we'll get to them when we get to them, this was a fantastic match. I will give John Cena and obviously Dolph Ziggler all the credit in the world, but... Let's just get into it. Collar and elbow tie-up and a headlock by Ziggler. Arm drag, armbar combination by Cena, and Ziggler bails. He's out there trying to get his thoughts back together. Cena takes the opportunity to acknowledge something else that's going on in the crowd. Earlier in the night, we saw the Just Married sign over on one corner. Literally perpendicular corner to that is a guy with a sign that it looks like he made up on the spot that says "She Said Yes." So apparently this guy was so bored by John Cena he proposed to his girlfriend, and there's a very New Day-esque "She said yes, she said yes." So Cena, I mean, I get Cena does the fan interaction thing, and I think that's cool. I think Cena does a fan interaction thing unlike anybody else because of the polarizing character he is, and I get that. But, you know, you think so little of your opponent that you take time out of the match to talk to the audience. A little bit of a dig at Dolph Ziggler. I don't know if that's how it was intended, but that's how it came off to me. But whatever. Cena works on the arm. Ziggler reverses into an armbar of his own as we go to commercial break. Ziggler with a sleeper and a grapevine as we come back from the commercial break. Neckbreaker out of the corner by Ziggler. Shower of elbows by Ziggler, which is always nice. And of course, Cena moves, so he misses the last one. Multiple shoulder tackles and a side slam by Cena. Stand-in drop kick by Ziggler. Side slam and a It's great when I shorten things, and I don't remember what they mean. I put 5KS by Cena. Now, that means 5-knuckle shuffle, but if I don't remember that means 5-knuckle shuffle, it looks like SKS, and then I end up looking like an idiot, like I do right now. You guys ever want my notes? They're fucking disgusting. As I've shown you many, many times. The 5KS by Cena, STF by Cena, and Ziggler doesn't break it. He powers out, which is cool. How many times have we seen that? Sleeper with a grapevine, once again, is reversed into a weak-ass attitude adjustment. I don't like that he immediately powered out of the sleeper grapevine combination to do an AA. I do like that it was at least very weak-looking, and after that weak AA, Ziggler's got enough constitution to get his head together and bail. Cena tries for a second rope attitude adjustment. Ziggler counters it and hits a dirty, once again, spike DDT from the second rope. And oh god, it was pretty. Ziggler tunes up the band, which makes me laugh, tries for sweet chin music, and Cena counters with a very, very not extraordinary clothesline. Standing dropkick by Ziggler, AA is countered into a famouser, and that was botched by both guys, I gotta say. STF by Cena once again, Ziggler breaks it. This time he doesn't have the strength to get out of it. This time he has to reach for the rope. That's a good story. It shows how much the match has worn him down. He can't get his primary method of escape, which is just to power out of it, because he's lost the power because of the rigors of the match. Now he has to rely on the rope. It's a nice little thing. Ziggler headbutts Cena off the second rope and tries for a second rope crossbody, but Cena rolls through and into an AA attempt. Ziggler rakes the eyes and super kicks Cena, which is where I legitimately get out of my chair. Both men trade punches for a while. Attitude adjustment fails. Zigzag fails. The second zigzag does hit, but Cena pops up like a pimple on prom night, hits the AA out of nowhere as if he hasn't even been in a match yet, and wins. Now, this was bullshit of the highest order, but there is one scenario where I will totally accept this, because Cena just popped up at the end and made all of Ziggler's offense look like shit. But this match was good. If this win tonight leads us to a rematch at Hell in the Cell, and that's where Cena's going to drop the belt to Ziggler, I have no problem with this whatsoever. If this was just a one-off to have a really, really good match to make Cena look better, which he doesn't really need, then WWE can go fuck themselves. We shall see. Dudleys versus the Ascension, for reasons. Ascension jumped the Dudleys from the start. Devon gets double teamed and a high knee by Victor. Both men trade punches for a while. Slam by Victor and then two more slams. Bubba tags in, and Bubba hits rolling clotheslines and clocks Connor on the apron just for good measure. Doomsday Device by the Dudleys and a 3D get the win. And it went by about that fast. Dudleys look strong, I guess, going into their tag team title defense, as New Day got to look great earlier on in the night, I guess. But it really just cements that Ascension are jobbers, doesn't it? Speaking of stuff happening for no particular reason, Neville and Cesaro versus King Barrett and Sheamus. Neville and Barrett, I don't know why this match is happening either, and they try to play it up that Neville has had this rivalry with King Barrett for weeks and weeks and weeks, when he really hasn't. That was Stardust, who wasn't even on the show, except to be a lumberjack, which we'll talk about in a second. Neville and Barrett start out, kicks by Neville, drop kicks and boots. Cesaro tags in and tosses Barrett around, because he can. Double foot stomp by Cesaro. Sheamus and Cesaro brawl a lot, and I didn't write anything for another 2 minutes after I wrote that, because that's what they do. They just brawl a lot. Several Irish whip uppercut combos by Cesaro to Sheamus, who is Irish. The irony of that is staggering, is it not? Vertical suplex by Sheamus and the 10 beats of the Bowery. Hangman by Sheamus, an uppercut out of the ring by Cesaro. Cesaro press slams Neville onto the heels. Neville and Sheamus are the legal competitors, but a cheap shot bullhammer gets the win for Barrett and Sheamus, which achieves what? I'm not exactly sure. How many times, and I'm going to say this to you guys because I think, patterns are amusing. How many times have they teased making Sheamus and Wade Barrett a legitimate tag team? Just fucking do it. Just fucking do it. That's all I'm going to say. Throw them into the actual tag team. We see a highlight video of Braun Strowman. And then we get the announcement that the Dudleys and Dean Ambrose will face the New Day on SmackDown, which is nice, which I don't review anymore. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. Roman versus Strowman. Decent promo. Here's where I'm going to call bullshit on the Chicago crowd, because they chanted boring pretty much as soon as Roman Reigns started talking. Roman Reigns' promo tonight, no, it wasn't spectacular. No, it wasn't Bray Wyatt, CM Punk, Paul Heyman material. It wasn't. But friggin', it was better than the crowd gave it credit for tonight. This is a prime example of we don't like Roman Reigns because YWC rulebook says so. It wasn't phenomenal, but he had a promo. He surmised all the problems that he's had with Bray Wyatt up until now, made it nice and concise, made it personal, brought the crowd into his own head for a second. Look, this is a guy that wants to keep me from succeeding at what I've chosen to do with my life. Any of you at your jobs, if somebody was trying to keep you from getting a promotion, you from getting a raise, what would you do to them? That's what I'm going to do to Bray Wyatt this Sunday at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. It was good. It was really, and I'm not going to oversell it. It wasn't great. It wasn't spectacular. Like I said, it wasn't the second coming of Paul Heyman, but it was good and it did the job. The Chicago crowd tonight chanting boring at that I'm going to call bullshit. And I think it's funny because as soon as they started chanting boring, Roman Reigns shut them all up and says, nah, Chicago, this ain't boring. This is real life. And then Bray Wyatt came out to cut what was pretty much a spectacular promo and yeah, put Roman's work down a little bit. But I thought he did great, I didn't write much about this match because it was just an ugly big man match. Strowman looked good for what he was doing. Roman Reigns got to, have his hope spots as a babyface does. Basically, Roman Reigns, after Luke Harper tries to interfere and he knocks out Luke Harper, he knocks out Braun Strowman by the commentator's table and wins by countout. No big deal. Bray Wyatt and the rest of the Wyatt family pose in the ring and they call out Roman Reigns. And this is where you think, okay, here come Ambrose, we're going to have a 3-on-3 brawl, but they don't come out. Roman Reigns slowly walks around the ring. Bray Wyatt does that thing on his knees, follow the buzzards, or I want this war, or one of his, but he does it just too close to the ropes, and Roman Reigns gets him with one cheap shot between the ropes and walks off, making Bray Wyatt look like a little bit of a bitch. Not gonna lie. Not saying that Bray Wyatt looks like a bitch in general, but in there, he kinda did. Ryback versus Rusev happened for reasons. Okay. I've tried to chalk up the whole Rusev, Ziggler, Summer Rae, Lana thing up to, okay, at least I can laugh at it, but I can't anymore. Lana and Rusev apparently in real life are engaged, have been engaged for a month. It was broken on TMZ. We see a bunch of pictures on TMZ of Rusev with his shirt off, which, isn't really good for anybody. But Summer Rae still comes out to the ring with Rusev. And we have Rusev versus Ryback, which is about as exciting as it sounds. Collar and elbow tie-up, punches by both men. Ryback misses a splash and looks like a goof. Rusev works on the arm for a long time. Shoulder tackle by Ryback twice. Meat hook, super kick by Rusev, shell shock by Ryback, and that's the end of your match. Summer comes out and he says, I want to share with the world how much I care about you. Share with the world what kind of real man you are. Shows the TMZ clips up on the Titantron, and then just verbally takes him apart for 2 minutes, slaps him and leaves. I would really love it to be back in the day where her slapping Rusev would have ended up with her in the accolade, but 2015 PG, no. Kalisto versus Kevin Owens happened again for reasons. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to say this before I talk about the actual match. Kalisto is a tiny dude, all right? Owens isn't. Owens has shown how powerful he is. Kalisto, I have all the respect in the world for. He's a very able competitor. He is a very able performer in the role that he's in. I have nothing against him. I am a fan of the Lucha Dragons. Owens selling offense from Kalisto is a fucking joke. It really is. But he does. Crazy kicks and a head scissor from Kalisto to start. Clothesline by Owens. Owens hangs Kalisto gut first over the ropes, which is a nice touch because if you've got a fucked up midsection, you can't fly around as much. One punch knockdown and a running senton by Owens. More crazy kicks by Kalisto. Owens tosses Kalisto out and then follows him out. And then Kalisto comes into the ring while Owens is on the outside. Kalisto runs at the ropes and tries to do a top rope springboard something. Owens just puts his arms up and blocks it, and Kalisto looks like he lands on his head. And it's, again, it's one of those, it's like the Big E spot from earlier. If it was planned, then they did a very good job of making it look like it wasn't planned and that he actually landed on his head. If it was a botch, I hope he's okay. And that's about the end of that one. From the knees, head scissor DDT by Kalisto is impressive, as is a bog standard tornado DDT. Kalisto tries for a head scissors off the top, but Owens says enough of this bullshit, turns it into a pop-up powerbomb, and wins. Because they both wear masks, Sin Cara's exaggerated gesturing on the outside while his buddy is getting owned is quite funny, but that's about it. Come back, and we have Team Bella once again, already ramped up from Nikki's victory earlier tonight. Oh yes, we have Brie and Alicia with Nikki in their corner versus Charlotte and Becky with Natty in their corner and Paige on commentary. Everybody's invited but Team Bad. Sasha Banks, you can come. The rest of you, sorry, we're full. Brie and Becky started off. Becky works on the arm drag twice in an arm bar. Brie pounds on Becky in the corner for a while. Becky hits a hard hip lock takeover to get herself out of that beatdown position. Charlotte and Becky do a really cool thing right here, because Charlotte gets tagged in and they both grab one of Brie's arms and they put her in a takedown, and each one of them leg drops one of her arms, so both of her arms is being worked over in the same maneuver. I like that. Actual tag team wrestling in the Divas division. It's good. Bring in some belts for that. Anyways, Flair chops to Brie and a neck breaker and a spear by Charlotte. Natty tries to tell off Team Bella on the outside. For reasons, Paige gets up, rightfully so, from the commentator table to tell her to fuck off, which is great. Boot by Charlotte and a mudhole on Brie. Top rope missile drop kick by Brie, and Team Bella get the win. So it's a clean sweep tonight for Team Bella, and I will now wait and bait. I will now wait and quench my thirst in the tears of the YWC. Oh, and fuck yes. Authority finally get a hold of Kane and say there's no possible way that Corporate Kane versus Seth Rollins is happening tonight. To which the dumbass Chicago fans chant CM Punk. Rollins comes out for the lumberjack match after trying to kiss ass to Big Show to find backup for whoever he's fighting tonight. And of course, Corporate Kane can't fight Rollins in the main event, so who is it instead? Who was the suitable replacement? And I love that term in wrestling. It's Demon Kane, isn't it? Kane mauls Rollins for a while, and they do a whole game where he tosses him out, and Rollins gets his ass kicked and thrown back in. Tosses him out, gets his ass kicked, thrown back in. Tosses him out, gets his ass kicked, thrown back in. Boot by Rollins, and Kane gets tossed out. And obviously, when Kane gets tossed out, because we're trying to build him up to a main event, nobody wants to touch Kane. All of a sudden, Kane is the scariest guy in the room. There's a brawl among the Lumberjacks. Rollins tries to escape through the crowd, but the Lumberjacks, most notably Cesaro, say nope. Kane is tossed out, and he attacks the Lumberjacks for reasons. He gets a KO punch from the Big Show, and the Big Show says, fuck this, and leaves. New Day, who have been cheering Rollins the whole time. You know how Xavier does his Black Jimmy Hart impression every time the New Day has a match? He's doing that for Seth Rollins in this match, and it's fucking great. On the other side of the ring, throughout the whole match, you've got Mark Henry and the Dudleys trying to give Kane a pep talk, which is just funny. New Day scoop Kane back in the ring, and there's a near fall. Super kick by Rollins and a mudhole stomp. A pendulum kick and a flying knee, all from Rollins, capped off with a frog splash. Second rope superplex by Kane, and the New Day pull out Kane and beat him down. Everybody brawls on the outside. The heels beat down Kane on the inside. Everybody brawls on the inside. Choke slams for Stardust and Woods. A pedigree attempt is countered into a tombstone, and Kane leaves Monday Night Raw victorious. Now, guys, what do you think of that main event? Because it was fun. It was good in spots. The show itself was good in spots. Both the Divas matches were okay. Cena versus Ziggler was okay, except for the ending. This show was extremely average. It wasn't total shit. That's the thing. If it was total shit, I could come up here and rant. If it was amazing, I could come up here and be super excited with you guys. I am extremely midline right now, which is a very, very weird reaction to get, especially from me, as you guys know, as I try to usually find the positive in everything. A lot of stuff got established, I guess. Everybody that has a match going into Hell in the Cell got built up tonight. There's only one of two ways that they're going to go with the U.S. title. Either Ziggler's going to get another shot, or somebody from the New Day is going to get a shot. If we do like we did in the Shield, where 2 of them hold tag team gold and 1 of them holds a singles title, then it'll probably be Xavier Woods going after Cena, would it not, if they don't do the Dolph Ziggler route. We've got Owens versus Ryback. We've got Nikki versus Charlotte. If they want to throw another Divas match on the actual card, I would love to see Paige versus Natty again, or Becky Lynch versus Paige, or something like that. Anything that doesn't involve Naomi or Tamina, really, is what I'm getting at there. But, I mean, we've got our world title. And here's the thing. Here's what I want to point out right now, and I want to know what you guys think about this. Every match on this card is either a title match. Actually, that's not true now. I was about to say that every match on this card is either a title match or a cage match, but now we have that Ambrose, Orton, Harper, Strowman mess, which I don't think is really going to be that special if I can be defeatist like that. I have a feeling that Hell in the Cell could either surprise us and be great, or it's just going to be a stepping stone on the way to Survivor Series, because Survivor Series is always great, isn't it, guys? Anyways, that's enough. This is my first Raw review in 3 weeks. Sorry I've been away, but I've kind of explained myself the best I can on that one. Like I say, go back one video, add your questions to the next Q&A. That's about it. I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.
You're a freak like me.